goes here. You have a little gadget on your key ring. What this gadget is if I push this on, can you sign that courtesy light there and a courtesy light back there? Okay. This will turn on your courtesy lights before you get on the boat. If you push it again, it'll shut them off. So that's what this little gadget on your keychain is, for turning your courtesy lights on so you can get in and out of the boat at night. Okay, next switch. This is the blower. The blower switch is the most important switch on the boat. You must be able to suck the gas fumes out of the bottom of the boat. If you don't do that and there's a gas leak and there's some spark or static electricity sets off those gas fumes in the bottom of the boat, it'll blow the covers right off the motor in the back and burn all the wires. So make sure your blower is blowing, it's sucking in fresh air and taking out all the gas fumes. That's what that's about. Next one, this is the bilge. In the bottom of your bilge you have a pump right down below your motor. And what that does is it sucks the water out. Now what you have with your bilge pump is that you have a float, so that if water accumulates in the bottom of your boat and this little float lifts up, when it lifts up about, I would say about 2 to 3 inches, it'll turn on the bilge pump and pump the water out of the bottom of your boat even if you're not here. Next one is the horn. Okay, next one over here, this is your navigation lights. If you push it to the top, your front red and green light will work. Also, you have a light that goes in the back of the boat. I didn't put it in. Okay, now if you push it to the bottom, only the back one will be lit. It's called the anchor light. I'll show you where that stern anchor light is. It's underneath the storage compartment in the middle of the boat. Next are your courtesy lights. If you hit this, those lights can come on by hitting a switch on your dashboard. If you push it to the bottom, it's that docking lights. Now your docking lights in the front of the boat are lit. So that's a 3-way switch. So that's got to be in the middle. Your navigation switch is 3-way. To the top it's red, green, and white. But when you push it to the bottom, it's only the white one. But in the middle, they're out. Accessories goes to nowhere. Okay, now you have a washdown. When you hit the washdown button, it turns on the pump that runs the water that will fill up the water in the sink. And it will also fill up the water in this sink. So you have a sink here, okay, and you have one there. But those waters will not work unless you have the washdown on. You have a wiper switch, but you don't have windshield wipers, so they do not apply. You also have an exhaust switch, okay? An exhaust switch is, you don't have that either. That is if you have the big motor with the loud exhaust pipes coming out the sides of the engine, out the side of the boat, those are your exhausts, and you don't have that feature on this. So of the last 3, the only thing that works is your washdown, which runs your water pump. Next, while we're up here and fiddling with switches, okay, I'm going to open this up. This is your radio. Now the radio will not work unless you turn the key on. If you turn the key, if you turn it to the left, you'll be using it for accessories. Okay, now this will come on. This is your volume. So the knob in the middle is volume. Now, if you hit the source button, it says auxiliary. When it says auxiliary, okay, and you hit this button in the corner up here, this will open up and there's a slot in here for playing your CDs. You can close this up again. Okay, now it still says auxiliary. Over here you have an MP3 port. So that's if you have an iPod and you plug in the bottom of your iPod and you plug into here, you can play all your iPod music through all the speakers on the boat. So that's what those 2 features do. Now here you have a mode. Okay, we're going to go back to source, and source brings us back to tuner. Now if I hit mode, I go to FM2, FM3, AM1, AM2, and back to FM1. So you got 5 different choices. Now if you want to change to up your station or down your radio station, okay. So it's a good radio, it's wonderful, it's a Sony, and it's very dependable, and it's very, very nice to have. You got a button up here in the corner that says off, okay, and that'll shut it off. But if I'm going to turn it back on to source, it turns the radio back on. Okay, hear that? Oops. Now if I turn the key and take it out, that shuts the radio off. And that's a good feature because you do not want to have your radio left on while you're gone. Somebody turned the volume all the way down and walked away. Okay, but now, and the other way that you can shut it off manually, okay, if you hold the off button in, it'll shut completely off. Now if you turn the key on, it's still off. So, but if you turn it to source, it'll turn back on again.
Good. It's good on the radio.
So source is your way of turning it on, off button up here in the corners for shutting it off. And that's basically it. And there are books about this radio. We have information for that. Okay, now looking at this first one is temperature. Okay, next one is oil, next one is miles per hour, that's worthless. This is fuel. This here is your depth, checking your water depth with this gauge. This here is very important, that's your tachometer, that's your RPMs. Right underneath RPM is a blank. I'm going to turn this on a little bit here. Okay, see those numbers coming across? That tells you how many hours you have on your inboard, outboard. This here is your voltage, and this is how your motor is trimmed up or down.